Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I was getting ready to make some appetizers for Christmas and I just thought I would share those recipes with you. The first recipe we will be making is a veggie pizza and it only requires 3 ingredients. A roll of crescent rolls, a bag of vegetables, and a container of veggie dip. The first thing I've done is I have my oven preheated to 350 for the crescent rolls. We're gonna bake these just like the instructions tell you to. This is a non-stick cookie sheet, so that's why I have my oven at 350. So I'm just gonna first open the crescent rolls and lay them out like a pizza crust. Okay, now that I have my dough stretched out as far as I want it to be stretched and all the edges pinched together, I'm just gonna pop this in the oven and cook it per the instructions on the package. Okay, now that the pizza crust is in the oven baking, we're gonna get our vegetables ready. So I just bought a bag of the vegetable medley. There are lots of different vegetable choices. You could probably use whatever kind you like best, but this is the kind that I've always had on the pizza and our whole family loves it, so I didn't want to change anything up. So this is simply broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. So I'm just going to use my food processor and I'm just going to chop them up until they're nice fine pieces. Okay, that's it. I just use the pulse so it doesn't turn it into vegetable soup, and then I just chop it until it's nice fine little pieces so it's easy to eat on a pizza. Okay, so our crust is now out of the oven. It's nicely browned and I've let it set out on the counter for probably about 15 minutes. That way it cools off because I don't want it to be hot when I put the dip on it. So now that it's nice and cooled, I've just opened up our veggie dip. You can use any kind of veggie dip you want, and I'm just gonna put it on top. The dip is what's gonna hold on all the vegetables, so you don't wanna put it too thin because you do want it to hold the toppings on, but yet you probably also don't want it too thick. So just a nice little layer. Okay, so there's that. And next I'm just gonna take my vegetables and I'm gonna sprinkle them over the top. I like to put a nice layer on. Okay, so that's it. It's as easy as that. You could probably have this done in as little as 15 minutes if you weren't waiting for it to cool. Now I'll just cut it into nice square pieces and serve it cold. I will stick this in the fridge covered in saran wrap until I am ready to serve it. The next recipe we will be making is chipped beef dip. And so it's another simple recipe. It just calls for 5 ingredients. You have a package of dried beef, a package of cream cheese, some garlic powder, a little bit of milk, and the W sauce. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do for this recipe is I'm gonna slice up my dried beef. I just have a 2.5 ounce package here, and I'm gonna use the whole package. And I'm just gonna slice it into fine little slices, about that big. nicely sliced. Now I have my 8-ounce block of cream cheese. I did set this out earlier so that it could come to room temperature because you do want it to be softened. If you don't have time to set it out, you can always pop it in the microwave, get it soft that way. Now that we have our softened cream cheese in a bowl, I'm gonna add garlic powder, and I'm just gonna add half a teaspoon of that. And then I'm just gonna add a couple squirts of the W sauce. Okay, and then we're gonna mix it up really well. Okay, and to this you can add 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk, just depending on the consistency you like. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add all the dried beef to this. I'm just trying to make sure that they come apart. I don't want them all stuck together in a clump. Okay, and then I'm just gonna mix that in. Okay, and that's it. I'm just gonna move it into a smaller bowl to take with me for serving. And then we've always just eaten this dip on crackers. So that's how I will serve it. Another quick, easy appetizer. The third appetizer I'll be making is not quite as simple as the first two, but here are the ingredients. We will be making crab rangoon. So it calls for 8 ounces of cream cheese, 8 ounces of imitation crab meat, 1/4 teaspoon of the W sauce, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, some vegetable oil, just enough to fry the crab rangoon in, a pack of wonton wraps, and an egg. If you don't have an egg, you can use water. The egg's just used to seal your wonton wraps. First thing I'm gonna do is open up my crab meat, and I'm gonna chop it into fine little pieces. The next thing I'm gonna do is take my cream cheese, and I forgot to set my cream cheese out this morning, so I just popped it in the microwave for 30 seconds so it's nice and soft. So I'm gonna take my cream cheese and I'm gonna add the crab to it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my W sauce and my garlic powder. And you can use a clove of garlic if you would rather. It's totally up to you. I was out of fresh garlic, so I'm just gonna use powder. Okay, and now we're just gonna try to mix it really well. Okay, now that I have that nicely mixed, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start my oil. I'm gonna get it going in my Dutch oven so it'll start getting warm while I fill the wontons. I'm gonna take my egg and just crack it in this little bowl here and scramble it up really well. Okay, now we're gonna open our wonton wrappers. Okay, so I'm gonna take my wonton wrapper, and I just take a little bit of the crab dip, put it right in the middle. And then there's a lot of ways that you can fold these. You just wanna make sure that all the edges are sealed, because if you do leave a gap when you put it in hot oil, the filling will come out. A lot of times I just make like a triangle or a rectangle because that's easiest. You can make a star too, but I try to do what's easiest so I can get through them all. So it's just as simple as that. It's all completely sealed now, and I'm gonna set it aside and I'm gonna fill the rest of them. Okay, so we have them all filled up now. As you can tell, we made some triangles, a few what I call a star, and then some rectangles. This is the longest part of the whole process, so if you get someone to help you, it goes a lot faster. Now we're ready to start dipping them in the oil. Okay, so I'm just gonna place a few in here at a time so I can keep an eye on them. I want them to nicely brown without burning, and then when I take them out, I'm gonna stick them on a plate with paper towels on it so the paper towels will absorb the extra oil. Okay, that's it. Those are done and they are ready to eat. Those are 3 of the recipes that our family enjoys as appetizers at the holidays. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you'll give one of these a try.